Our learning goal for today is to solve story problems that involve elapsed time. Elapsed time is just when time passes. So you start at one point and at another point, how much time has passed. That is what elapsed time is. Now, everything you'll be writing today is going to be in your journal, so make sure you have your journal page. So you just told me that 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. 1 hour, so if we know 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds, then 2 minutes is equal to, we would just multiply 60 times 2 if we have 2 minutes. So 2 minutes is equal to 120 seconds, and this is going to be important when you start converting time. Okay, 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So if I said I had 3 hours, you would do 3 times 60, which is 180 minutes. 1 day is equal to 24 hours. So if I said I had 2 days, that would be equal to 24 times 2, which is 48 hours. And 1 week equals 7 days, so if I said I had 4 weeks, then that would be equal to 28 days. Alright, so using what we know then, try and answer some typical questions. So for example, afternoon recess at Darla's school begins at 1:20 p.m. and ends at 1:35. How many minutes long is the afternoon recess? So it starts at 1:20 p.m. and goes to 1:35 p.m. How long is it? So you need to find the difference between the two. Now typically subtraction is what you do when you know the term difference. When it comes to time, it can get a little tricky, especially when you get up and go into new hours. So what I think of, honestly, is I skip count, because skip counting is something we've been doing since first grade. So 1:20 to 1:30 is 10 minutes, to 1:35 is 5 more minutes, so I know my total is 15 minutes. Okay? I'm going to put another couple problems up there that I'd like you to do. So go ahead and number your paper 1 through 3. And I'm going to zoom in on a problem from your book, and I want you to answer them here, here, and here. So you'll need to pause it as you get to it. Alright, so question number 1 that I want you to try and answer is number 18. And you're going to write it next to your number 1. So the school library is open for 2 hours and 30 minutes each afternoon. What time does the library open if it closes at 3:45? So in this case, you know how long it's open and you know when it closes. So you need to work backwards by skip counting. Okay? That's the one I want you to answer for question number 1. Number 2. What time, and we're answering this question right here, what time should Trevor get up in the morning if it takes him 45 minutes to get ready for school and he wants to leave at 7:50? So he's leaving at 7:50, so what time does he have to wake up if it takes him 45 minutes? And then the last one that I want you to try, a movie that is 94 minutes long is scheduled to begin at 6:20. What time does the movie end if it begins 1 minute late? Now go ahead and try these. I do want you to try them on your own, and then I'm going to go through and show you how to do the right answer. Okay, so our first problem was the school library is open for 2 hours and 30 minutes. And I like just write down what I know. This is how long it's open. And it closes at 3:45. So that means it must be open 2 hours and 30 minutes before it closes. So let's start with the 2 hours. Okay, so if I start at my 3 o'clock and I go back 2 hours, that puts me 3 o'clock minus an hour is 2 o'clock minus an hour is 1:45. Okay, so when I get rid of my 2 hours, that means I'm now at 1:45. Oops. Now from there, I need to go back my 30 minutes. So I start at my 45, now I'm going back 30 minutes. So 45 minus my 30 minutes would bring me to 15 minutes. So the time that it opens is 1:15. Now you always want to double check and make sure that it's right. So if I say, yep, it opened at 1:15 and it's open for 2.5 hours, so 1:15 plus 2.5 hours should get you to 3:45. So 1 plus my 2 hours brings me to 3:15, plus my 30 minutes brings me to 45. So a whole lot of this is done with skip counting, you guys, so I hope you're comfortable with that. The next one, what time should Trevor get up in the morning if it takes him 45 minutes to get ready and he wants to leave the house by 7:50? So he wants to leave at 7:50 and it takes him 45 minutes, so he needs to wake up 45 minutes before this. So I would have to take 45 minutes away from this. Now I know to get from 45 to 50 it's only 5 minutes, so there'd be 5 minutes left. So my answer would be 7:05 is when he needs to wake up. So if I add 7:05 plus my 45 minutes, it should get me to 7:50, and it does. The last one to double check, a movie that is 94 minutes long starts and is scheduled to begin at 6:20, but starts a minute late. So that means it doesn't start at 6:20, it starts at 6:21. So if that's the case, what we'll say, let's just worry about 6:20 just for easier math. Starts at 6:20 and it's 94 minutes long. So the first thing I want to do is get this to the closest hour. So I know to get from 20 to 60, because there's 60 minutes in an hour, I'm going to be adding 40 of this 94, which leaves me with 54 minutes left. So if I add in 40 minutes, that changes my time from 6:20 to 7 o'clock. Now I can add in, okay, it's added 54 minutes, so 54 minutes. My new time is 7:54 when it's going to be done. Now remember though, it started a minute late, so I'm going to add in my 1 minute late that it started, which gets me to 7:55 p.m. So if I said it started at 6:20 and it's 94 minutes, 94 minutes is pretty close to an hour and a half. So if I think it's 6:20 to 7:20 is an hour, and then another half hour to 7:50-ish, am I pretty close? And I am. So this answer makes sense. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to have you do 2 more story problems on elapsed time, and hopefully we'll be ready to roll for tomorrow. So the first one is this number 35. You can just number 1 on your journal. An extra inning of professional baseball began at 8:17 p.m. and ended at 12:06 a.m. What was the length of the game in hours and minutes? And then the last one that I want you to do is this next one over. On Saturday night, the late showing of a movie began at 11:40 p.m. and ended at 2:05 a.m. What was the length of the movie in hours and minutes? So I'm going to be looking for you to answer those 2 problems on your own. Good luck.